A new non-custodial as a wallet service offering hopes to free up big fintechs from acting as custodians in an effort to make it easier for end users to access DeFi and other Web3 apps. Joining us now to discuss is co-founder and CEO of crypto custody firm Fireblocks, Michael Shaulov. Welcome, Michael.
Jen, Lawrence, thanks for having me.
Good seeing you. So, all right, who's asking for wallet as a service and non-custodial wallet as a service? Why do they need it? Who's asking for it? How many? What's your market here? When you built this whole product, who's your target market?
So the reality is that pretty much everyone that are looking for that. Yeah. To be honest, the demand is actually coming from the end users, right? So on the back of what happened with FTX and Celsius and other entities last year, we've seen a lot of demand from end users to kind of get clarity on what is the control of their wallets and basically get services like financial services, Web3 services, and so on, but in a way where they have some visibility, transparency, and control, right, over their assets. I think it's pretty clear why that trend is an important trend, right, to remove counterparty risk. And as an effect, what we're seeing is that a lot of the fintechs, the exchanges, the neobanks, a lot of the Web3 applications, right, the way that they want to provide the service now is rather than taking custody of the assets, they want to basically use this non-custodial setup in a way that they are able to differentiate themselves and have it to their end users.
So I guess my question here is this, is that let's say on the institutional side, why would somebody use a non-custodial wallet versus, say, a custodian?
Yeah, so when you say institutional, you mean basically a fintech application, or you refer to an asset manager?
Whatever it is. Yeah. Because you said your market is broad, I am assuming that you have different use cases. Right. So who would use it in that situation?
So it's actually pretty diverse across use cases, but the simple example is that if you're an end user and you're using, let's pick the example from that you were discussing earlier, Binance US, right? You're probably a bit concerned about the assets that you currently deployed now on Binance US. And there is an argument there that Binance US should reduce the counterparty risk of their users to them. And therefore, them embedding, right, a non-custodial wallet in their application and basically enabling you as the users to know that you have a control over the over your assets and actually know that your crypto is there and it's not being reapplicated. It's not going to disappear. You're not going to have an FTX like situation is critical. But simultaneously, assuming that they're doing things correctly, they still need to apply the security. They need to apply the compliance. They need to apply the ability for them to recover your wallet in the case that you're losing your phone or web access. And interestingly enough, the same argument applies to asset managers when they're interacting with a custodian, right? So as an asset manager, you not necessarily want to have the custodian the full control over your funds and commingling those funds with other funds of other institutional deposits.
All right, so the wallets are non-custodial. You just mentioned they can be recovered in the event of a mishap. Explain how this works, if there's any security risks for end users here.
Yeah, so the main difference of our technology, or basically what we are providing here, which is an MPC, multi-party computation-based non-custodial wallet SDK, is that unlike a regular non-custodial wallet that we're all familiar with, like a Ledger Nano or basically a passphrase wallet that I can put on my phone, the entire private key is actually not sitting on the end device. It's basically split between the mobile device or the web application, basically your browser, right, where you have part of the key share because of the multi-party computation, the MPC, and there is another part that is basically sitting on back-end services. And the part that is on the backend services, basically both parts need to agree together through a protocol that they're going to sign the transaction. But they never basically come together into one single private key. And the fact that there is a private key part, or what we call a share, sitting on a backend service, it actually allows us to apply all the security controls, all the compliance controls, and so on. So basically, preventing your funds to go into an address that you didn't approve, or interacting with a Web3, basically a rug pull on a DeFi protocol, or interacting with a sanctioned entity, right? All those things, we can basically put the controls in place. And even if your phone or your computer is compromised and you have a virus on it, the hackers cannot manipulate those funds, right? And that's actually the biggest and probably the most important achievement here in terms of what is being provided.
All right, we got to ask you, Fireblocks is a wallet provider for Fortress. Of course, we learned that Fortress experienced a phishing attack this week that led to $15 million in stolen funds. Were Fireblocks' customers affected in any way?
So Fireblocks basically been part of the infrastructure of Fortress, and as was reported by, I believe, you guys, the root cause of the hack over there was basically that they were using a development application that was called Retool, right? So Retool basically was kind of the source of bridging the Fortress infrastructure. I think luckily enough for Fortress, they did use our infrastructure that basically backstopped the hack, right? And basically based on all the configurations and the policies that they configured into our infrastructure, the vast majority, basically 99% of the assets over there were unaffected. And clearly that hack was specific to Fortress. So as we mentioned, none of our customers were affected by that. And specifically, this is also part of the ability of providing MPC-based technology, whereas there is a full segregation of the different clients, right, and their security.
All right. And we also reported that Fireblocks is working with HSBC, but the partnership has not been confirmed. Are you able to confirm that for us?
We don't have any comments on that.
All right, Michael, we'll leave it there then. We hope you have a great weekend. Thanks so much for joining the show this morning.
Thank you so much.
That was Fireblocks co-founder and CEO Michael Shaulov.